Jason's right. That is a hard cut. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Rideshare Rodeo Roundtable. I hate it when Jason's right. Larry knows what I mean.
Exactly what you mean.
Good evening, everybody. Tonight, we got Gig Work Mama, and we got Lifting with Larry. And if you guys don't know Larry, you will hear soon. Jason just put it in the comments. Did your internet die too? And he got the compliment. Just
oh my goodness.
Whammy. You're right, Jason. It's a hard cut. I'm going to work on it. I don't know what to say. But if you guys don't know Larry, you will hear soon. He does the Gig Economy podcast with Jason. They do that on Wednesday nights at 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. Eastern. Is that right?
That's correct.
8 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm in Mountain Time, so I'm always having to figure all this stuff out. So, but also Larry is... We'll get into some of this, but he's very well known on Instagram. We'll give you his handle here in a little bit. So welcome, everybody. Welcome, chat. And let's see that some people are popping in. What's up, Traveler? What's up, Thomas Mathis? What's up, Jason? What's up, Tierra? What's up, Bubba Sue? Hi, Traveler. What's up, Christopher Taylor? And everybody else lurking and checking in. That's all right. I'm sure that some are out working. What's up, Jerry? So hi, Ellen. Hey, Eric. Hey, Anthony. Hey, Vanaska. Now all the lurkers are coming in. Hey, Sheila. Hi. They're just waiting.
This is the whole show. We're just saying hello all night.
Kim, I know that I asked you today, and I know that it's been like hours since it was released. But I know you've been commenting leading up to it, and I know you're positioned well to at least attempt whatever the hell this is going to be. But what do you... Well, I mean, to me, I mean, at a glance, for somebody who's never going to be in, you know me, I'm never going to get above 20%. And I'm not just bashing myself. That's just how it's been since for 4 years. So it's not going to change, especially now. You know, I ride around 14%, so nothing's changing. I'm gonna be a bottom feeder. You are positioned well with Doordash, and I'm just curious. Like so far, what do you think? Because I know that obviously, and we know this, all the metrics get harder.
Yeah. So, okay. So it started 2 days? 2 days, and I think we're in the third day. But I don't want to even call it the third day, just because it didn't roll out until like 3:00-ish in the afternoon for me. And it was rolling out late across the country that I know of. For a lot of people, I think we were all expecting to like wake up on Tuesday and bam, it was ready. And we woke up and I'm like, I'm still in Diamond Program. And it was like the anticipation throughout the day, like, when's it going to come? When's it going to come? And then I actually called support because I was getting questions, you know, YouTube wise, and also from people messaging me. And I'm like, I don't know. So I called support. Yeah, they had no clue either. They didn't even know what the rewards program was. But at the same breath, they're like, hold off until later on in the afternoon. I'm like, well, you just told me you didn't really know what the rewards program was. Anyway, so they were no help. So I only got maybe 2 orders in the very first day, maybe 3. So yesterday I worked the entire day and I purposely did all Doordash. I didn't multi-app. I literally did a whole Doordash day. Today I multi-apped. I feel like, and I was telling you today, I feel like it's too new. Like I really want to embrace it, I guess is the right word to do. Just because, you know, to me, it's very similar to what I had, at least first glance, but I work in like multiple zones. I just don't work in one area anymore. So I don't know how it's going to perform in different zones by day. Like there's a lot to, at least in my opinion, figure out at this point. So give me a week, give me a month. We'll see kind of what it brings. Did I make my goal yesterday? Yes. Did I make my goal today?
I guess, yes. But I guess my real question is, I mean, okay, whatever they're doing, DoorDash is not giving you more, no matter what you're doing. They're not giving you more money out of their pocket, and you can't make customers give more. So it's not like, hey, we have this new program for our drivers. You should all tip more. That's just not, the money's the same.
I don't know. I'll say I don't know yet. I don't know what the perks are. I don't know how it's going to affect it. Like I said, from first glance, I made my goal. So to me, that's all I'm out here to do. I'm out here to make money, whatever tier I'm in. I'm in platinum. I mean, did I
But the
decline
same
a
goal
couple
you
times?
had before the tier program.
Yeah, I mean, nothing's really changed. I mean, did I decline a couple times? Yes. Do I still have a high AR? Yes. I mean, the one thing I find it really challenging, or there's a problem, at least in my opinion, and this could be based on my market, I don't know, but everybody who was a top dasher the month prior has platinum for the first 7 days. So you now have all these drivers who still have the Dash Now feature. So there's still a lot of drivers being able to just go on whenever they want because they gifted platinum for 7 days. So until they kind of weed down the people who aren't going to maintain that 70% or more, it's going to, in my opinion, it might be a little challenging for the next couple of days.
But then what? So what's up with Top Dasher?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah, completely.
It doesn't exist anymore.
So how do you get on all the time?
I have to maintain 70% or greater in order to keep the Dash Now feature. In order to be on the large order program, in order to Dash Now whenever I want, like you have to maintain. Like that's the thing. Like you have to maintain for 30 days, 70% or greater.
Meaning you can't dip below it.
No. Once you dip, from what I know, once you dip below that 70%, you have to wait another 30 days in order to get back into the platinum.
Oh, that's hard.
See, to me, that's just such a bigger step again to employ. Yeah. And I know all these, I mean, we dog on all these apps, but it really is. They're selling your telematics. They're selling all your information. People in New York who need to make some money, or if it's not busy enough, even on a scheduled dash because of the new minimum wage law, they get kicked off. They don't even get to work.
Here's my thing with it all. If you are a dasher like myself, who is used to maintaining, like I always maintain a high acceptance rate. If you're used to maintaining, like this just is no big deal. It's the same thing you've been doing all along. But for those who don't maintain and are trying to maintain a platinum level, it could be a little overwhelming because you have to completely change your mindset of what you do on DoorDash. And I think once you change your mindset, you can achieve anything if you want to achieve the platinum level. But I think that's where a lot of drivers might, have challenges.
Like if I changed my mindset, I could reach 20%.
Not gonna happen.
I
don't believe it.
I said this, I think, on my Tuesday live. I can't remember when I said this, but this is what I said. I think we're so used to pandemic times where money came to us, right? Like it was so easy to make money because it just flooded into our phones and we can pick away because there were that many orders to do. Now we're back to pre-pandemic times, post-pandemic times. And now we actually, I hate to say, we have to work in order to achieve a lot of the things that you want to achieve as a driver, whether it's multi-apping, DoorDash, whatever apps you want to do. Like you actually have to put the work in. It's not just going to come to you any longer. At least that's my opinion.
Did you see? I want to bring up Scrabble's comment here because she's actually talking about dipping that 1%.
No, but originally it was order to order. It wasn't like a 30-day thing.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I was trying to read up on this, today after finding out that's what we were going to talk about. And so the articles I read it made it under the impression where you would dip down, you would lose that. But as soon as you came back up, like, got your acceptance rate back up, that you would be, good.
I think
again.
It also depends. And this is a tricky thing too. Like every market
Market's
is different. Like they're
Yeah.
rolling out different rewards to different areas. So what might be there are some areas that you have to maintain an 80% AR. There are some areas, instead of doing 100 deliveries in a month, it's 150 deliveries in a month. In my area, you can dash now whenever you want, as long as you maintain it. And other areas that I know, like you have to schedule in order to dash now. Like it's, every area is completely different, and it's hard to keep up with what DoorDash has rolled out to different markets.
Yeah.
But I think that's how they like it too.
Yeah, because you can't compare, because you know,
Right.
you can't
Like if
be
I
as
call up
united.
Larry in Bowling Green, I'm like, yo, Larry, what's going on with your DoorDash market? And
Yeah.
he's like, oh, this. And I'm like, man, that's not what's going on here. And it
Like,
all
it's
rolls
great
out.
here. Yeah, it's all good here.
Exactly.
Everything's fine. But yeah, next town
They
over.
never wanted
it's-
us to compare.
No, they don't want us to be united. They don't want to be united on anything. So they keep it. I think that's very intentional to keep things different. It's just like in the same market in rideshare, we see different bonuses every driver. I mean,
Oh,
you get
yeah.
different offers every week.
Even different signups.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
signups,
times when like I will have talked to somebody who's like, we don't even have a sign up bonus right now. And then I'll see here that if I can get somebody to do 250 rides in 30 days, that they get 1,600 and so do I or something.
Yeah.
But then somebody else has $0 bonus.
Zero.
Yeah. Or you have two drivers sitting right next to each other, and you'll get an offer from Lyft, and one guy will decline it, and the other guy will get the same offer, and it'll be a different price.
Yeah.
And not always higher.
No, and one thing I've always kind of found weird. Have you ever seen people do Cheyenne or Larry, Kim? Have you ever seen people do those like 10 phones out challenges where they like have a bunch of phones like all trying to get DoorDash orders? They're all on, they're next to each other. Here's my problem with those. I've never seen one where they're all the same phone. That makes a complete difference, because we know that the iOS processes faster than the Android. We know that, so there's just so many differences. I mean, if you have an iOS 6 compared to a 15.
Yeah, too many variables.
I've seen a lot of these, and I've never seen it done where everybody like half have the same iOS and half have the same Galaxy.
Yeah.
It's just strange.
Definitely.
But
DoorDash wants to keep us on our toes.
So
confused. They want to keep us confused.
Yeah.
Dazed and confused.
Larry and I were talking before we came on, and then Kim and Cheyenne joined us too. But we were talking about this DoorDash says it's getting more affordable. I just laugh, you guys. A, when I read it, but B, the article itself is so misleading. I told Larry it's like borderline bad journalism. Like I'm embarrassed for them writing this, because they know better. They know to do better looking into it than this. But they actually have comparisons from 2 years ago. And it's like, it doesn't even tell you the details. It's like a Chick-fil-A order in Chicago 2 years ago was $27.46. And then today it's $27.70
something.
But it's like 0.7 cheaper. And I'm thinking, I don't care what comparison you do. There is nothing on Uber Eats, DoorDash that 2 years ago was cheaper than it is now.
Yeah, they did. They had one comparison in there from Wingstop. They said the same order that they ordered last year was $36.10, and this April it was $33.75. It was 17% cheaper a year later, with the way everything's gone up in the last year.
That doesn't make any sense.
It does not make any sense. Well, they say it's because they cut their fees, and so that's what's making it cheaper.
Yeah, right, exactly. So and then we know that they add the upcharge the items. Maybe they're charging the restaurants more. But then there's even things about like, even with what we have to pay in Seattle and New York City, we still are cheap. Like, no, you're not, dude. I know people in all these cities. You're not cheaper. People have deleted the app. People can't afford it anymore. Like it's ridiculous. Like I don't even understand where that comes from.
Yeah, that's really weird. That's a weird comparison that they did, because I was just having a discussion about this with a few friends, and we were talking about, with the economy the way that it is, have you changed any of your habits as far as food, groceries, deliveries? And everybody said that they no longer do Uber Eats and DoorDash because they can't afford it. Everyone, not one person said, I still order.
It's ridiculously priced.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it. I mean, they even say in here that the Wingstop order, would cost, if you ordered it from the restaurant itself, it would be 47% cheaper than if you had it delivered.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think
can see that.
the people who do order on a lot of these platforms order for the convenience. That's all that, like, they're just too lazy to go out and get their own food. And that's how
100%.
DoorDash is monopolizing on the people that they do have on their platform.
So
I
one
mean,
point that
go
I
ahead, Shannon.
heard today, I was listening to this training completely unrelated to gig work. And it was a business owner, and he was talking about, that he outsources pretty much everything because he thinks about what his earnings per hour would be versus him actually doing the task. And that's the one category that I feel like Uber Eats and DoorDash is actually, and Instacart and all that, is actually a positive for them, because it's true. If you have someone that, makes $100,000 a year, they're not going out to do their grocery shopping. They can get someone from Instacart, pay them $20 and get them to do that. Because at the same time, they could be on a sales call and making however much thousands of dollars, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like for that market, it's worth it. And this is why I think the apps would never go anywhere. But a lot of people cannot afford it, and they're still trying to see how they can afford it. They're still doing it. They're still, putting the credit cards and then dealing with it afterwards, which is kind of sad to see.
Yeah. And you have this generation, or at least, a small section of this generation who grew up during COVID or came into their teens in COVID, and they're used to delivering everything. They work from home, they get their groceries delivered, they get their food delivered. They don't go they don't have to go anywhere. And some of them don't want to ever, they just want to stay at home. They socialize, they play their online games, they chat with their friends on there, they video conference, and they can't afford it, but they're going to find a way. They'll cut other things before they'll cut their food delivery.
Oh yeah.
Want to hear something crazy? So supposedly DoorDash, from what I heard, DoorDash and Uber Eats are a little cheaper when it comes to ordering groceries because they run tons of promos for a lot, because they're getting people to get on the platform to do grocery shopping.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, I did an order, a shop and pay for DoorDash the other night, one item, and it was formula. It said that the customer, and it was like, and I get it because my daughter was on something similar, like probably one of the most highest paying formulas there is out there. It was in the store. It was $67, I think, like $99 for like a container of formula. You know how like DoorDash shows you the price that the customer is paying? They were getting it on DoorDash for $75.99.
What? And then the fees,
and then the
tip?
fees and the taxes and the
Crazy to me. Like that. First of all, formula is ridiculously priced regardless. But can you imagine adding more money on top of that to get formula? I mean, I guess.
What if it's like a single mom, like
business.
juggling 9 kids though, and she just
It's a
can't
good
get out of the house?
possibility, but my God, that's an incredible. That's a
Markup.
ridiculous markup.
Well, so then, and then you got to wonder what happens when they do all this EBT stuff. Or when they're working with these SNAP programs and stuff. It's like, wait, what? So how are they getting their? Are they using their SNAP benefits for the upcharged item price?
I'm assuming. Well, I would hope whoever like set up the deal would say you can't.
It was set up by
up.
Instacart and Doordash. So, I wouldn't assume anything.
Assume they're ripping you off. That's the only thing I'm going to assume with these companies. They are ripping you off.
I'm just
right, but how do you
that
rip off people on SNAP benefits?
Exactly.
No.
Like I don't think there would be a markup, or at least not such a high markup on their items if they're going through SNAP and EBT. That would, like, come on.
That would be very interesting to test and see.
Oh,
I mean,
man, that would be
I
so
can
bad.
I can say this: they're not doing it out of the goodness of their heart.
No.
I mean, period. So the state might be subsidizing.
Right.
I don't know,
They're
but
going to get kickback somehow.
I mean, it's like I'm sure you guys are all familiar with this. It's happened for years. There's been, I don't know about your areas, but in my area, everywhere I go these days, even when I'm using a credit card and like if I'm going through a drive-through or anything like that, they're like, do you want to round it up for charity? You guys better know this. Always say no.
I always say no.
Because it's supposed to, a lot of the employees don't even know what they're saying. They're just told to say it. But honestly, that's, if every one of us does that in a day, that's a donation they make for a tax write-off from that company. So they're taking, you know, if it's like, hey, it's 34 or 33, you want to round up to 35? No.
Yeah.
Donate that
I
money
always say
yourself
no.
to something you care about. Don't,
I just
especially on a credit card. That's crazy. Like,
So
it was
I
one
just-
thing when it was cash, but
Sorry, I just had a thought, and I know it just popped in my head. So I'm sorry, this is totally random. But I'm gonna go back to DoorDash because it literally just popped into my head. You know, we were talking, what was it, a couple weeks ago about the large order program and it not being there. The thing is, it's still there, and I think a lot of people or drivers are confusing catering and large order program. A large order program just isn't about catering, which a lot of times people associate because that's what they're getting. But there are still large orders that are on the DoorDash platform. It's not like it used to be. It's a little different. I just wanted to bring that up. That's it. Okay, moving on.
So before we do move on to the next thing, I wanted to mention something I talked about on my audio podcast because I almost forgot I did forget to put it in this rundown tonight, but over in Europe right now, and I think Kim, you'll remember this because we talked about this with Uber Eats way before any migrant illegal account issues that got where they've gotten to, but over in Europe right now, they're fighting for, you know, we're always fighting here for better pay and all this crap, and we're striking and things that don't work. Over there right now, they're fighting to make it so that you can't let other people use your account. Remember this?
Yeah.
If you have an Uber Eats account, you can subcontract that out.
Yeah.
That's in the terms of service. You can subcontract out your Uber Eats account to somebody else that you haven't background checked.
Yeah.
So to me, okay, there are a lot of illegal accounts, and there are the, you know, the migrant issues and people who aren't supposed to be working and all this, that, and the other. But even over there, they're fighting for the fact of, hey, wait a minute, you can't just but I'm an independent contractor though, and they're saying, well, but you can't sub out your account on these platforms. Why? Because a TOS box said so. If I'm an independent, they're pushing that same thing I try and push sometimes of, if I'm an independent if I'm an independent contractor, then this. And they're saying that it doesn't matter if they change it. So there's a big issue right now with the fact of they're actually having migrant issues as well. And so this is all about, it came up because of the migrant issues. And they're saying that we got to get them off. And so they didn't care about it before. Now they care about it.
Yeah. And just real quick, Red said that she got an email welcoming her to the large order program. So it's still there. I just think a lot of times that they confuse the two between catering and large order, because large order just isn't about catering.
That's exactly it. I honestly think Easy Cater, I already know from the work we did with Paraworks that, look, Easy Cater used to use DoorDash primarily. Now they choose DoorDash last. They try and get it all out to all these other catering companies first. And that's the main feed for large order programs. So there's not really a large order program. It's more like large dinner orders, no catering. Right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, I mean, it's basically, it was designed for those larger orders that, I mean, it used to be over $100. I mean, it could have changed from then, but it's basically the bigger subtotals. So that way drivers who are experienced, so to speak, can be the professional drivers, hopefully the professional drivers, to deliver these hundreds of dollars worth of food to these customer houses. And I guess if you can successfully do that, you're entrusted into the catering program too. Well, that's a whole different story because setups, blah, blah, blah. But
yeah. I mean, it's interesting because I know people are still in it. I know in Red saying she just got into it. I mean, I know it still exists, that they call it that, but like you were saying about pandemic times, Kim.
Yeah.
And then the last couple of years, there's been a real catering program.
Yeah.
But now there's not a real catering program anymore.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's just not, it's nobody wants to. I mean, bottom line is if you're Easy Cater or whatever, wouldn't you rather work with Delivered or Deliver That than DoorDash?
Yes.
I would,
Just based off of the drivers? Yes.
based off everybody. Because I mean, these are real. First of all, DoorDash is not a catering platform.
Mm-mm.
So most people aren't prepared with catering bags, even if they say they are, they're not.
No.
Not enough sometimes of what a true catering order could be.
And also, just real quick, I forgot to say this too. I did call support because people were asking me once they got to platinum, how do you enter in your catering bag? I don't know that piece, but I did call support because I was already on the large order program to see if I needed to resubmit my bags. And they said I did not need to resubmit my bags because I was already on the large order program. They already had my pictures, so I was good to go. So if you are new to platinum, you might want to call support just to see what pictures they need because they already had all my information.
Yeah. I mean, I see in here, Eric Berry said, anyone can order a large order through DoorDash. Right. But most of DoorDash catering was coming from Easy Cater, more than 80% of it.
But now it's more merchant driven. It's not even Easy Cater.
Yeah.
So now catering is like the merchant partners that DoorDash has. So it's, Chipotle, Panera, like the corporate partners that DoorDash actually has with them. So people are actually ordering through, whatever Panera, Chipotle, whatever, and then it gets dispersed. So they have that direct partnership with all those corporate partnerships.
Yeah. I think that Easy Cater just feels better too with people that they know are here to do catering, not this, where did I just see it? Thomas said it says CDR catering bag required. Yeah, we know that. But I mean, a lot of DoorDashers will still take that order even if they don't have one. I know this.
It'd be like the pizza orders.
But before it was, I don't know, because obviously this is new, so I don't know the new program. But before, you just had to bypass it if you didn't have your catering bag. Like the only thing you had to do is hit, I didn't have a catering bag. And then the only thing, there was a message that popped up and said, well, next time, make sure you have it. And then you just proceeded with the order. Like, what good does that do? That's the whole entire point of being on the program is you had the bags in order to accommodate large orders. Now this customer who ordered $200-$300 worth of food is going to get some cold food because they don't have the bags to do it.
If they get it at all. Sometimes in the mix up in the mess, they end up canceling an hour later, and then it's been somebody unassigned it and all kinds of things. It's again, they're not a catering app. They're a food platform that never really did much else. I mean, I know they do the shop and pays and this and that and the other, but which I think is pretty crazy that after all these years. By the way, before I move into this, tomorrow's my son's last day of school. Ever.
Yay! Congratulations!
Congrats.
Very cool.
So
whatever happened with that loan thing?
What's that? Oh, we had to do it. You have to do it. You have to do it.
That's crazy.
Can't graduate unless you do it.
So when's graduation?
A week from Saturday.
Proud papa.
Very cool. Yeah, I have one graduating Saturday as well.
Oh, really?
Congratulations.
This Saturday?
Congrats.
Yes, this Saturday.
Oh, Max is a week from Saturday.
Yeah, so we just
it's crazy that you guys, like, your school gets out so early. Like, we don't get out until the end of June.
Yeah.
So it blows my mind that you guys
well, even for Denver, he's getting out like a week or two earlier.
Yeah, they start early and
so
early.
He's like all the rest of DPS gets out in like another week or two after him. So, but after all these years, Kim said Instacart and Lyft might fail and this and that and the other. Did you know that Instacart is partnering with Uber?
I was reading the article about it, but haven't we been speculating that for a couple months now?
Yeah, but I'm not seeing what Instacart gets out of it because it sounds like
a potential buyer.
Well, no, it sounds
thought.
like to me that they're trying to take the legs out of DoorDash, and clearly, and it even lists Amazon and Walmart. But I think the biggest threat right now isn't DoorDash or Walmart. I think it's Amazon. Amazon's new deal of $99 a year for free delivery of all groceries, in-store pricing from any grocery store, not just Whole Foods, is going to bury these companies because Amazon has the database. They have a bigger database than anybody.
Well, their database needs to get me on because I've been on the wait list for over 2 years. So what about that database?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Thank you, Christopher Taylor. Appreciate that.
Thank you,
Mother's
Christopher
Day,
Taylor.
But yeah, I think as I read this, it's kind of crazy because I'm not really seeing so it's basically saying that if people are on Instacart and they decide they want some food too, that it isn't even using Instacart. It's subcontracting it to Uber Eats.
How does that work?
And you're going to get an Uber Eats driver and everything. So wait a minute. So if I'm ordering groceries and I decide, wait, I don't want to cook tonight though, I'm going to get some food too. I'm going to have 2 drivers coming.
But how does that work with the interface? It's going to switch over to the Uber Eats interface?
It says they have a tab inside the app.
Uber Eats shopping is the worst. Yeah. I hope not.
I think Uber's paying Instacart some money for this.
I would hope so because I didn't see any other bonus for them.
I think that would be it.
Just real quick.
So the groceries are going to be on Instacart, and then the food would switch over to Uber Eats?
Yeah, it says there's a tab in there that they can click on, and it allows them to choose from a selection of nearby restaurants. So it doesn't sound like it's the full Uber Eats app. It doesn't sound like it's going to spawn it off and open up in another window or anything. It sounds like it may be like a scaled down version, maybe.
But even if it did, it would be the masked version. It would be like, even if it was full Uber Eats, it's Uber Eats within Instacart. So like Larry's saying, so they can track how much of the business they did and they're going to get something.
Yeah.
But how much more can Uber Eats? Uber can't make money. How much more can they dish out to Instacart to be involved?
It's never stopped them before just because they can't make money.
Man.
That's a little tiny minor detail. Come on.
But just real quick, Tony, I applied with 3 different emails, still on the wait list. All 3 emails. I'm just saying. So I did try that trick. It did not work.
But it does say in here that customers with Instacart Plus membership will also get free delivery on both grocery and restaurants orders more than $35, which is the same threshold that Amazon set 2 weeks ago.
Imagine that. What a coincidence.
$35 or more and $99 for Amazon delivery a year. And $35 or more, you can order anytime you want for free. The only difference is with Amazon, it's in-store pricing. They're using the store's prices.
And
there's no tip.
Well, it's just going to, that's why it might take a minute, but it's going to kill them because I'm going to be able to open Amazon, see the price of 100 items from Kroger, and then I'm going to be able to look on DoorDash and see that it's 60% more.
And like you said, plus a tip.
Yeah.
Which you're not going to have to give.
Yeah, on the Amazon, you can't unless you want to give a cash tip and try and find out when they're coming by, because otherwise you can't. They won't let you tip.
Right. Yeah. I
just don't see Amazon has the power to do this.
Amazon takes over the world.
Yes.
Really,
tell me about it.
Look at guys, nobody, if you went back in time and even had unless you knew what you know now, there's no way that anybody would have said, what, this online book company, Amazon's going to put every store in the country out of business in the world?
It's hard to
every mom and pop's going to be closed. Really?
Yeah.
Really?
I remember Amazon. I remember browsing Amazon on a text-based browser.
Yeah, because it started off as just books.
Yeah, as a bookstore. Yeah,
bookstore. Yeah.
But to me, that's just crazy because I think that they have the database. I think they have the power. I think they have the muscle to do it. It might not happen overnight, but I think that it's going to be a big threat.
And they have the money to let it be, do it at a loss for as long as they think it's going to, take to.
Well, according to you, Larry, they can all do it at a loss. Like, 'cause
Well, I
money-
mean, I'm not the one making the rules. I'm not the one. I'm just, I'm just observing and making
yeah, no,
statements.
it just
of
seems
what-
to be
what
like
we
they play with
see.
funny money, you know.
They
It's like,
really do. Yeah, it's
like,
amazing how
what
that
are you talking
happens.
about?
Yeah, we only
I'm
lost
wondering-
400 million last quarter. That's all.
Ooh.
Um,
That's all, petty change.
Exactly. We keep this up though, it could get to be real money.
Oh my gosh. I'm wondering what Uber's affiliate fee is going to be, though, to
I don't know.
Instacart.
They have a lot of work to. All I got to say is if they're going to take on more shopping, they need to fix their app for shopping. It is, it's hard.
which is weird because I never
Horrible.
got to use it, but I got to interface with Corner Shop, and Corner Shop was
Not the
clean.
same.
It's not the same.
I know I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, but they bought them. You own.
I
that
really thought
interface.
that was the only
Use it.
positive. I was looking forward to. I was like, okay, when they bought over Corner Shop, they're going to take the interface and everything is going to run off of Corner Shop's interface. Nope.
How do you do a shop?
That would make
doesn't
way too
have-
much sense.
But how do you do a shop that aisle numbers aren't in any order? Like, how do you even shop like more than 20 pieces when you can't figure out what aisle to go in and what direction to go in? You're going in 5,000 different directions. It takes you forever and a day. Oh,
If I had a
Yeah.
grocery store, I would just organize it all by color.
You get your steps in during your
If you want
shopping
milk,
trip.
it's over in the white section. You want yellow, it's bananas, and
Mustard, bananas,
Oh my gosh. You'd have fridges
lemons.
all
That's
over
all
the
in this
just
aisle
have
right
a big
here.
color above the tiles.
what happens if you're colorblind?
Yeah.
Then you better be ordering through Instacart. Oh goodness!
I'm not saying it was a real idea. It was just
Hey, I think there's an investment for all of us. We should do that.
I honestly think we're going to start seeing a lot more of these, like the Target shipped super center up in Minneapolis.
Mhm.
I think we're going to start seeing a lot of those where you can't even go in them, where they're just there for pickups. Even if it's pickups of like here, I don't know if I've told you guys I've seen them, but here lately, we've seen a ton of the Kroger trucks, the 26-foot refrigerations. They are by the fleets in my neighborhood.
I don't even have a Kroger, so
I mean, it's just like we have several restaurants here. So, after the pandemic, they started Pizza Hut. They built a restaurant delivery only. A lot of them are going to these delivery only. I think Taco Bell's building some that are delivery only, no lobby. And so I don't see why it be any different for the grocery shopping.
Yeah. And then I don't know that I pulled up the right article for it, but it's happening. So, I mean, I did bring up one, but this pushback on they're about to pull the Seattle law for real. We've been talking about this for a while, but they're like either going to revamp it to look exactly like New York's, or they're just going to get rid of it.
well, they should because Seattle
should.
was the hot
They
mess.
No, I mean, so I think that I don't remember the last time we said it was, but the losses already incurred by DoorDash alone. I mean, they've already speculated how much they'll lose just in Seattle this year. And it's crazy. It's crazy. These numbers are so high, and how much they've already lost and the customer volume they've lost because they put the line item, city forced field delivery fee, $5. So they're passing it right on to you. They've upped the items. So people everybody thought that, okay, well, I don't even understand how the thinking and logic went that this will make drivers more money. How can you be in that room and go, yeah, that works? I mean, because honestly, I know that everybody wants a solution, but I feel like everybody pulls the trigger on a stupid solution too quick.
None of
Think it through a little more, guys. Really, that's the best you came up with in that room. I don't know. But I mean, it's I guess my point with it is it's starting to prove to be enough of a thorn in their side that exactly what we've been saying kind of thing is that they're punishing these cities already. It's kind of like, hey man, do this with your city and this is what'll happen.
I just don't understand a lot of the logic in all this legislation. And, and I think this comes from me from talking to Stephanie Vigil is why aren't they actually talking to actual real drivers to really
Right.
get a real account.
And when they do,
of
they're always
what-
union ones.
Right. Like, why aren't they actually talking to like me? That's an everyday mom that goes out and hustles every day, or
Because
Joe
you're
off-
not good. You're not good for senators. They
Right.
don't like moms who work and are independent contractors. They do not like that.
Because
I
you're
know,
not
but-
relying on them.
Yeah.
No,
No,
but
they're
that's
like
my
they want to
point.
say, Kim, if you're going to do this, we need you to be a W-2.
Yeah. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, no, it's not gonna happen.
I mean, but that is what they want.
I know, but it just like to me logically, you would think you would, I don't know, just talk to regular people who do this day in and day out to really understand the magnification of something like Seattle would have on an entire city. Like we all called it as soon as this rolled out, like on the roundtable, we were just like, yeah, Seattle's gonna be a hot mess. Nope, it's not gonna work. Nope. Like we laid out everything and we called it before it even rolled out. And here we are, we're talking about it again. If
Mhm.
they would have just listened to us.
Yeah.
You know, I think
would have
with,
avoided
I
it.
think with a city like Seattle, they also want less vehicles on the road. They're all about electric, and so to them, I think they kind of even knew this is going to mean less dashers. They just didn't outright say it. They knew that. They're not that stupid. There's a couple people on that board who know this is going to mean less drivers because it's going to mean less customers. But I think they just don't want 7,000 cars sitting around the city all night, idle. Waiting for watching YouTube, waiting for orders. You know what I mean? It's like I don't even know.
No, I
what
didn't
that
just
is.
drop the F-bomb. I didn't say that.
I thought I heard it too. I'll have to go back.
I wasn't going to mention no.
I didn't say the F-bomb.
No, you didn't say F bomb. You
I didn't even say that.
All right, we're taking bets. Did Kim say it or not?
No.
No, Kim, your vote doesn't count.
Oh, goodness.
So, Larry, I think that we've been talking about. I think you guys have been talking about it too, about this Uber teen. And for those that don't know, I had Larry on my podcast in February of 2021.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how long it was, like my 40th episode. Like it's just crazy having him. I mean, I've been in touch with him since, but it's funny having him back here now because it feels like no time's passed almost at all, and yet a ton's passed.
For sure.
But I know you guys have been talking about this, and I know that you do a lot of rideshare, a lot still. And and you do it in a college town.
Yeah.
So that's why I wanted to put up his Instagram link here as well, guys. So I'm going to run our banner here, and after all the ats, which are YouTube, you'll see one that says Instagram Lifting with Larry. If you go check it out, one thing about Larry's page, and you're all going to love it, is that every picture he's got like 72 girls in the car every time, like college girls, like waving and smiling and like always. They know Larry. They literally know Larry in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
It is funny. Bowling Green's small enough, and we're 70,000 population, probably 18,000 college students there at Western Kentucky University. And yeah, we're small enough that I have some of these people a lot. And once the Instagram I have a very, I would consider very small following, but it's very localized to mostly the university students. And so they do know me. So Thursday is a big party. Thursdays are big party nights for Western. 2 or 3 times on Thursday nights, I'll have people get in and they'll ask, "Are you lifting with Larry?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's me." And they're like, "Oh my God, we've been trying to get you for 6 months." I'm like, "I don't know how you try to get a certain driver," but they get so excited. "Can we take a picture for the Instagram? We want to be on the Instagram," because all their friends, and that's all it is. Their friends, they've seen it on their friends. Their friends have been on there and they want to be on there. Me and my wife, it's hilarious. I was like, why in the world would college kids be excited about a 57-year-old guy in a Toyota Camry picking them up? And they act like they just got in the car with the Kardashians. They get so excited. It is hilarious.
Because
I have a lot of fun with them.
because you're big, because you're kind of big on Instagram. I don't do Instagram enough. I don't really, I don't see its power unless for me, unless it were to be a personal thing.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't have a into my brand at all.
Yeah.
But
Like I said, it's very localized here, around the city. And a lot of us, again, I'll have the same people. I'll have people, and this happens a lot. You know, we just had graduation. You'll have people, they'll get in, they'll be graduating. They'll be like, oh my God, I remember I was a freshman and you were my very first Uber ride. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so scared. You took me to my first frat party. And you know, like the last Saturday of the school year, right before finals, several of the frats have really big parties. One of them is Margaritaville. Another one, the Pikes hosted. I forget what they call it, but they go all out. Both of them had like the big giant inflatable slides you hire for your kids' birthday parties. So these kids are out here. They're drinking margaritas. I had 3 sets of passengers. Really try. They wanted me to go to Margaritaville, and I'm like, you know, I don't think as an Uber driver that's probably not what I need to be doing. But you know, I appreciate it.
I mean,
so it's fun. It is a lot of fun.
So after all this time I've known you, I do have to ask, because I mean, because of this, why are you not privatizing these rides? I mean, seriously, I would be doing all
because I pick them up and I take them like 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah.
I mean, the edge of campus is connects to the edge of our downtown, and that's where
and
the
you'd be
bars
dealing
are.
with just drunk people going a block. And having to figure it all out.
Exactly.
Okay.
If it was a bigger city and these rides were longer, but literally, like so many of my rides with the college kids are very short. You'll be taking them from campus down to the bar, or there's one bar that's kind of halfway between campus and downtown. You pick them up at Hilligan's and take them to downtown, or from there back to their dorm. They're just very small rides, very, you know, just, it's good when you have like a lift bonus going on or something like that, because you can knock out these rides real quick. But not real long rides where it'd be worth it.
So while we're on this rideshare thing, though, I know that you're familiar with this. When I started in 2015 to date, I have just been locked down about no unaccompanied minors. Do you see that in your market? I know you can opt out, so I'm guessing you've opted out because it's a horrible system. Maybe I'm not sure what you've done actually, but
you know, I think it's on, but I've never had one that says, you know, that's an Uber teen, because I think it pops up there.
Lyft does it. Like Tony, the Driven Dad, is in my market as well in Denver, and he gets them on both.
Really?
Yeah.
Like now I've had some, you know, really young kids, like, you know, 11 or 12, you know, you pull up and they come out and I'm like, where's mom and daddy? Oh no, it's just me. I'm like, no, it's not. No. I mean, not happening. You're not getting on the Instagram. Sorry. Call me back 6 years from now. But then, you know, I mean, I've had some that are probably, you know, 17, you know, right there at it. If they're right there, I'm not going to sweat it too much. I'm like, I need to see your ID. I'm not going to. If I think they're too young, I won't take them. But if I consider them, you know, I think old enough, I'll
It must be where you live, because I would never.
But have you seen like the campaigns on like TikTok and even like Instagram for Uber Team? Like they make it sound like, as a mom, like it is like the game changer of all game changers. And, you know, I'm going to be the best mom ever because I use Uber Teen. And I'm just like.
And it's so safe because our drivers are extremely vetted. No, they're not. They've done 200
different drivers.
Yeah.
If you want a vetted driver, you need to go to Hop Skip Drive.
Yeah. And, that I wouldn't take, I don't think I would take somebody that was, you know, under probably 17.
It's too bad they don't say in those ads what extremely vetted means. It's too bad they don't say, hey, that means that they've passed a $23 background check and they've done 200 rides.
Yeah. That's extreme vetting. Extreme. Yeah, it is scary when you think about it, and because, you know, we all know, I know what other drivers are out there, and I wouldn't send my kid with them.
Yeah, I mean, see, this is what Tony and I face. He's saying I sweat it all the time because I'm not taking the liability for him, because they try and I mean, people try and pull scams here too. And I know they did back in the day. I think we talked about this last week. I'd have people come up to the car. I probably even talked about this with you, Larry, and at a high school, and here in Denver, I can park right behind a cop car. No problem. They're at every high school. So just park right there.
Yeah.
And have the door locked and the window cracked. And when they'd come up, and this is pre-pandemic, and they'd come up and they'd say, "Yep, I mean, that's my ride." And I'd be like, "Well, can I see your ID?" "Nope."
Yeah.
"What do you mean, no?" I need to know that you're 18. "Well, no, I'm not. And it's my dad's account and I'm going to take it." And "No, you're not." And they'd even call their parents. Their parents would yell at me.
Oh yeah. 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 It's just like the same thing with taking, kids that aren't in a car seat. Those parents will get so mad at you for not taking their kid. "No, I just hold him in my arms." That kid's like 3 months old. "No, you're not running. You're not running in my car holding your kid in your arms. That's not happening at all."
Yeah.
My heart.
I mean, they get very upset. They.
I mean, that's
will
that's
get
like
great.
when Larry and I grew up. I mean, we didn't have car seats.
We were laying in the back window.
You'd be like falling on the floor. And so that's probably where all the studies came from, that they were very needed, in fact.
Very much right in the back of the pickup trucks and everything else. Yeah.
So one thing I noticed with the Uber teen, because you remember when we were talking about it last week and we showed that video, when you look at, so when you go into Instagram and you put Uber teen, obviously the most popular reels are going to pop up. And a lot of the faces, I recognize them because it's like the big parent accounts. Yeah. And when you look at the caption, Uber is sponsoring these because they all have their promo codes where they're going to get the affiliate. Yeah. And it gives them like, let's say $15 off if you spend more than 40 or whatever the case might be. Yeah. But every single one of these content creators have their affiliate code in.
But Uber is like on TikTok, Uber, the company, is running Uber teen ads.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's also creators, like you're saying. You'll see people, and I don't even know if some of them even have promo links. They're just doing it for the views on TikTok, I think. But they're going, hey, and they either like it or dislike it. Even there's two sides, just like it always. But Uber itself is running ads.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen several Uber ads.
I mean, my view on it's that because with summer coming up, and with volume the way it is, they just don't care. No unaccompanied minors ever, with all the changes they've went through since 2009 went out the window when they saw that kids weren't buying as many cars. And hey, this is the next generation. Let's just get them while they're teenagers. Wait, I thought we were never going to do that. Like never.
Yeah. Well, that was then. This is now.
Right.
Yeah. It's a different.
They're like, get with the program, Steve. Come on.
Got to keep up, man. Got to keep up.
But then here we go. And I mean, this is not the first one. We knew about the phone being thrown out of the car. We knew about all these other ones. Like now there's a 17-year-old that was drunk that got raped.
Yeah.
In a lift.
Yeah. And that is scary. And I have riders. I give dad talks to them all the time. Yeah. I give dad talks to them all the time. Whether they remember it the next day, who knows? But even this week, Thursday night, picked up a passenger. She was at her boyfriend's house. She graduated that day. She said we were talking. She's like, yeah, it's been such a long week. I passed all my finals. I'm exhausted. And so it's like a 22-minute ride because she lived out in the boonies of Warren County. So it was actually a long ride for once. And 4 minutes into the ride, I look back. She is head tilted all the way back, her mouth's open. She is out. I mean, out. And I don't know. I'm going, is she tired? Did she fall asleep? Is she drunk and passed out? Did she OD? You don't know. And I mean, you really don't. Because I've had one that I took a couple years ago and I had to call EMT. She would not wake up. Because you can't, I'm not going to touch a female passenger. If it's a guy, I'll shake him. I'm not touching a female passenger.
Do you carry Narcan?
I do. But yeah, she would not wake. I set off my car alarm. This girl didn't wake up. The fireman came, did a sternum rub on her. She didn't wake up. They had to put smelling salts on her nose for like 30 seconds before she even stirred. And then she was not real cooperative with the police. So she ended up spending the night in the pokey. But this girl the other night, we're going and she's starting to lean a little bit, and we're on these back country roads that are just curvy. And I go around this right curve and I look in my mirror and there she goes, man. She just, boom, she is flat in my back seat. So we get to her, I'm assuming it's her parents' house because it's like 5,000 square feet, huge, beautiful house. I go, miss, miss, we're here. And so she starts stirring. So I'm like, thank God she's going to wake up. And she wakes up and I'm like, I was a little worried about you. I didn't know if you passed out or, OD'd or what's going on. She's like, no, I'm okay. She's like, but man, he is going to be really pissed. And I'm like, who's going to be pissed? She's like, my boyfriend called an Uber driver to drive me home and that driver is going to be pissed. And I'm like, Kyler, I just drove you home. I'm your Uber driver. And she's like, huh? I'm like, is this not your house right here? And she looks up and she's like, huh, how did that happen?
See, here's my point.
Exactly.
Thank God for Larry, because if it's not Larry, it could have been this dude.
Yeah,
exactly. And I tell, and that's happened. I mean, stuff like that has happened so many times. I had a girl, I was driving one night. I pulled up to the stop. I wasn't on a call. I wasn't going to a call. I was just going to park in the parking lot where I wait a lot of times. It's like 1:30 in the morning. I pulled to the stop sign. I'm on a side street, so I have to wait for this car to go by. I hear somebody trying to open my back door. I look over and there's a girl trying to open my door. I thought maybe somebody was chasing her. So I unlock my doors and she falls into my car, falls in there. And I'm trying to talk to her and you cannot understand her. She is so drunk. And she just got in my car. She would have gotten to whatever car pulled up there. She hadn't called an Uber. She didn't know nothing. I finally managed to get from her after about 5 minutes. I got her to tell me what dorm she lived in. And so I took her to her dorm and make sure she got in okay. But stuff like that happens. Scares me too.
Do these people not have friends?
That's
sorry.
what I
Whenever
do.
we went out, we always had friends. Like you never leave your girl.
That's
alone.
another
Do
big
they not
story.
use a
I
buddy
get.
system anymore, designated.
No,
here's what
happened.
These
They
days,
have a buddy
no.
system. They have a buddy system to get the girl to the Uber. That is it. And this has happened to me. It happened to me the first time. Girl comes out of a bar with her friend who is very wasted. She puts her in the car, and I'm assuming this girl's going to get in the car in the passenger seat. And she leans in the window. She's like, make sure my buddy gets home safe now. And after that happened the first time, I'm like, no. You get in here. Look, we're going 3 minutes down the road. You get in here and ride with her. Make sure that she doesn't get sick in my car, and make sure you don't know who I am. I know I'm a good guy, but you don't know I'm a good guy. So get in here. I will bring you back for free. You'll miss 5 minutes out of the party. You're going to be fine. So I'll make I try to make them ride with them unless.
I mean, that all it took a long time ago
times
was
have changed.
remember Samantha? I can't remember her last name, but Samantha, and Say My Name campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, like all it took was one rich, privileged college girl. I don't remember where she was, South Carolina, North Carolina, something in there, getting drunk. And all of a sudden everybody's like, wait, this is a big deal. And I'm like, it happens every day.
Every day.
Come on.
Every day. It
like
is.
Enough. Yes, I feel bad for your daughter, but enough. Don't make this everything. Like this is the first time it's ever happened. No. Yeah. No.
I'm telling you, I feel like, and I've said this before, like they need to do a high school course, even like senior year, of life lessons.
Yes.
Right? Like
sure.
Simple things, like stuff like this, still balancing your checking account, like how to tip Uber drivers. Like they need to have like a life lesson course on just everything.
So it's funny you said that, Kim, because Max is like, I don't know what his last class is tomorrow, but one of the classes he took this semester was financial planning, and it's pretty cool. It was a pretty cool class, and I was talking to him about things, and I was like, you would never go into a restaurant and not tip, because I've taught him to tip, right? And he's like, no. He's like, but I do get a pass till I'm like 19. I was like, where the hell did that come from? I was like, you get no pass. Like, no, I don't even understand. It was one of those illogical things. And he's very smart. So I was like,
where did that come from?
Yeah.
You're like, who raised you?
Which of your dumb friends told you this?
Exactly. But yeah, you do want them to learn things. I mean, I thought they have a big thing at the beginning of every semester where they set up all the tables for different organizations and businesses around the city. And I really would like to set up a table there and just to give them tips on being safe when they take rideshare. Just the simple things, make sure it's the right driver, make sure it's the right car, make sure it's the right license plate. Y'all have all that. Y'all can make sure that it's, it's who it's supposed to be and it's the right car before you get in that car. Don't send your friend out. Don't bring her out and stuff her in the car and say, make sure my friend gets home safe, because you don't know that driver.
It's funny though. Like I think back to like my college days, and I'm probably going to date myself. Like there wasn't a thing called like Uber. It was called a designated driver. Like there wasn't like all this technology that like you actually had friends that cared about you. Like it just baffles my brain that we've come into this era that like people just don't take care of people. Like it's
they don't.
Humanity gone.
Yeah.
Really,
I mean, because probably also because her girlfriend that's calling for the drunk girl is sitting outside waiting for Larry, and she's like, God, I want to get back in there and have another drink. I'm sick of this.
Yeah,
and
I'm finally getting rid of her, so I can go talk to
up,
Dave, who's sitting over in the corner waiting for me.
Wait, Larry's all, I don't even know any of you.
Yeah,
exactly.
It is.
This is how little you care about your friend.
I talk to my daughter. I've talked to all our kids, but especially our daughters about that stuff. Don't, always stay together. Always make sure you know what's going on. Make sure one of you stays sober all the time.
Yes, that too.
It's one thing to have a few drinks, but don't get drunk that you don't know what's happening and where you're at, and you can't even tell me what your name is. No. And it's scary. It really is.
I mean, I grew up in a college town too in Michigan, and I got to say, like, in Michigan, maybe it's a little bit different than here in Colorado, but because nobody does this. I know it's a different time too, but no matter where we were, we'd walk, even if it was a hell of a long walk.
Yeah, no one does that anymore.
It was to get sober too.
Yeah,
you walk like 6 miles.
You walk up. Yeah. No, I tell people, I was like, I can tell when mommy and daddy's paying the Uber bill, because you wouldn't be taking this 0.4 mile Uber trip if you were paying the bill. When it's 75 degrees and it's nice out.
Sometimes as college kids, you were too broke to take a cab, right? Like you spent all your money on going to this party or going to get. You had to walk because you didn't have any money.
If you want to go to the party, you're going to walk.
A cab. And in Michigan, I'm going to admit something here. I used to. I mean, I didn't all the time, but I've hitchhiked.
Yeah. Oh, I've hitchhiked several times.
I would never out here or in today's world anywhere probably, but like, I don't know, maybe out here it was different then, but something about the Midwest, I don't know. People just do it a lot. It's kind of common.
Sure.
Yeah, not in New Jersey.
Not in Montreal.
No, yeah, I've been to New Jersey,
but not drunk either. Like I've hitchhiked to work.
Hitchhike in New Jersey.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that.
I've hitchhiked to work, like because I'm going down one road for 4 miles, 5 miles in Michigan, and it's like I got to get to work.
It was a different time back then.
It's all like,
we were blissfully ignorant back then.
I've never done that.
We're living before him, but
we were blissfully ignorant, weren't we, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, but it's not like, come on, it's not like Kim's that far off. She is younger, yes, but she should get this.
I get the hitchhiking; it was a thing, but I never did it.
Yeah.
Like I said, in college days, you walked. Like if it was on campus, you went to a party on campus, you walked. Like everywhere you went, you just walked. Like
I mean, now there's postings on, and I guess there's even weirder ones, but there's postings on what is it, Craigslist? Like I need to get to Utah, and they're just going to jump in a car with whoever because they got to get to Utah.
Do what you got to do. Right?
We'll help with gas.
Yeah.
What? Are you serious? Wow. There's an app. There's an app called Hitch. No joke. That is all for this. It's digital hitchhiking. And oddly, Tremaine Hayhoe's movie is the app in the movie is called Hitch before Hitch existed.
Wow.
He had it before Hitch.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, think about, I forget what the website's called. I don't know if it was couch surfing or something like that, but these people that, not making any money, you just put out, hey, I've got an extra room. If somebody's coming through, they need to stay there. There's no contract. There's nothing in writing. You're just letting some strange person stay in your house. It's
true.
Not happening.
Yeah. But I mean, these crazy things are happening. And I mean, they've happened forever, even to the non-teenagers. But I just feel like I feel like there's some people who will definitely take advantage of teens left and right for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
for
I don't
sure.
know what the sickness in people's heads is with
Mhm.
teens,
People are ridiculously sick. They're
Yeah.
gross.
but I mean, there's so many of them too.
Yeah.
Like
Mhm.
maybe they wouldn't take advantage of you, Kim, or somebody else.
'Cause we're
but
older.
but if it's a
Right.
teenager, they're something clicks. It's like, what, dude?
Right.
why
Yeah.
you-
They know that a lot of the teenagers are not going to, they'll bow down to authority. They're not going to speak out. They're not going to resist.
Exactly.
And a lot of times they know they might not even tell anybody, the way somebody else who is grown and knows what's going on would do. So, yeah, it's sad, but
So, yeah, I mean, so I don't know, you guys. I'm all about turning it off, and I'm trying to even. I know a lot of you have kids, so I don't know if any of you use Uber or whatnot, but please, if I'm guessing anybody even working in the food delivery space or anything, please hear me on this. Do not let your teenagers download Uber Teen just because you can track the phone. We've already seen cases where the kid missing and they're tracking the phone and they track it to a street corner where it was thrown out the window.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
okay, now the kid's gone and good luck. Like that means nothing. The driver knows to get rid of that phone.
I don't know. There's just too many horrible things out in the world. I mean, human trafficking. There's just so many.
What will be the norm when your daughter gets of age, Kim?
It's scary. It's scary. I'm
is
telling you.
scary.
It's. I'm like,
flying
Yeah.
cars.
and we talk
what
about,
do they say? The bigger the kid, the bigger the problem. Like the older the kid, the older the bigger the problems. They say.
Yeah.
That's true. But we've talked many times on the gig economy podcast about, people renting out their accounts or stuff like that. So yeah, if you send your kid in a car and you don't know that's even the actual driver that they're going to be getting in the car with, or what if it's a female driver, you're like, oh, well, that seems safe. Well, what if she's got her boyfriend riding in the front seat? Because we've all seen that happen too. Somebody bringing along their boyfriend or their spouse or their friend, to ride in the car with them, even though you're not supposed to. That happens.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you do. Your teen girl gets in there and there's two guys in the front seat.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, my parents set up this ride, so I guess it's okay. And there'll be teens who would do that. They would get in the car still.
Oh yeah. They would be completely oblivious to the fact that that's not okay.
Yeah. And they're liable to have their headphones in or their earbuds and not be even paying attention to what's going on. Yeah. In their phone. And next thing you know, they look up and we're like, they're not anywhere near where they're supposed to be going. They're in the middle of the woods somewhere.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Scary stuff.
So
I want to thank Delivery TV. I want to thank Luis because if you guys haven't seen it, I learned Spanish extremely well, like extremely well. And I got a video up on my channel. It's 13 minutes long. It's in Spanish.
Steve, this one's for you. What if Uber Teen only did like Waymo or autonomous cars, and they only took teens?
That sounds that again, my view on those. They don't work, so that's the biggest problem. The biggest problem is they can't get to you, or they'll break down.
The kid's going to be stuck in a construction zone.
Drug use, sex, and what are you going to have? Uber Teen pool, where people are passing out and people are sleeping with each other in the back seat. Come on, man! Like who's going to clean this thing in between every ride?
Nobody.
Yeah,
that's the other thing. Like these things are going to be the grossest petri dishes you've ever seen.
No.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna get people like getting them and falling. What do you do when somebody like what happened to Larry?
Yeah, they pass
like
out.
the girl that passes out. What do you do? Are you gonna have a back seat that tilts up and just
that's easy.
slides
Ejection
her out?
seats. Ejection seat, man. Just boom. She's out right through the roof. That's an easy fix right there.
I don't know. I mean, there's just every time I turn, every thought I have about autonomous is just, it's not happening. And I know we keep saying at some point, maybe at some point, but even that, I don't know when, because insurance companies aren't going to insure them. I've talked to them. They're like, dude, they haven't even started looking at autonomous. They're not even interested yet.
But what I'm
we
saying
laugh
is
about
2
it.
wrongs. Do they make a right? Wrong Uber teen, wrong Waymo. Hey,
They
2
cancel
wrongs.
each other out, Kim.
Exactly.
Yeah, we talk
Yeah.
about it a lot about the autonomous stuff. I mean, I know you remember, Steve, when we first started doing rideshare, it was like, well, enjoy it while you can, man, because next year or 2 years from now, all autonomous cars, man.
Oh,
You're not
yeah.
going to have any
That's
drivers.
been a pushing flag
Yeah,
for,
that's
and it's
pushing and
always
pushing
those
and
2 to
pushing and
4
pushing
years
and
out,
pushing.
and then we catch up to it, and it's like, wait, no, we meant,
Yeah, exactly.
or,
Yeah.
but they've never said, hey, we're not even close. We've actually, like, it's gonna be 2040 now. Like now
Yeah.
again, it's 2025 or 2026.
Yeah.
You know, but we
Yeah.
were gonna. Somebody said it in here too. I saw it a minute ago. You know that we were gonna have flying cars by 2020. They promised VTOL by 2022.
Hey, I was
Full
promised
VTOL.
flying cars when I was a kid, man. They're like, by the time you
Remember
get to
the
be 20 years
Jetsons?
old, yes,
Yes,
the Jetsons, all
but
the
my
cool
point,
stuff.
but my
the
point is the
Jetsons.
VTOLs have like these turbines and they
Mhm.
turn, so
Yeah.
it's like going to land
It's just like
and
Osprey.
then right and then take off. But the problem is like they were saying this, and then like in 2022 when they hit that date, and it was like the 3rd time they hit it, they like got 2 helicopters that said Uber on them, and they're like, "This is the beginning of VTOL." I'm like, "It's a helicopter.
Exactly.
It's not. You didn't even do anything. You did nothing." You know, and the autonomous doesn't work, and it's got a flaw in every direction you look. So those people who keep saying like autonomous is going to be here quicker than you think, I'm always like, same as Larry. I'm like, you've been doing this since 2015. And I've been told that every year.
Every year. I mean, I think we'll go to the metric system before we get autonomous cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we've been told that since I was a kid too. We're going to the metric system.
Yeah.
Oh, really? There was talks of that?
When I was a kid, and that was a long time ago because I'm 57. They told us I remember 3rd, 4th grade, we're learning this now, but the United States is going to the metric system. They would tell us that every year. We're going, and then it just kind of faded away. I don't,
Maybe you just had a conspiracy theory teacher.
We just have to be different. We just have to be different in everything. United States, we have to be different.
So I gotta ask you while we have you here, Larry, because we've talked about this. So Minnesota,
yeah,
I know you guys have talked about it too.
Ad
There's an
nauseam.
article out today, and honestly, one of the things that is concerning to me now, well, at the same time, we all want to see it play out, but again, Minneapolis, Minnesota, don't think I'm hating on you. I feel bad that it's happening to you in your state, but it needs to play out somewhere. But the legislators out of session next week.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't
the
seal
state,
this deal, and it looks like it's done, I mean, it looks like it's not going to happen. Right. It looks like Uber and Lyft will be leaving.
Yeah, because they're talking about the whole state now, not just Minneapolis.
The whole state of Minnesota.
If first it was just it was just a Minneapolis thing, then the whole state got involved, and I feel bad for them too. I mean, there are people I know that do rely on this for one reason or another. They've had a DUI, or they've never gotten a driver's license, or they're medically incapable of driving. They're old, they can't drive. There's lots of reasons people can't drive anymore. And the rideshare has just become a way for them to get around. I know here I do a fair amount of insurance rides, picking up people at the clinic or hospital and taking them home or to their appointments and stuff like that. And it just goes through Lyft or goes through Uber. It's not a special program, but their insurance companies are paying for it. And if that's not available, it's going to be a detriment to the citizens for sure.
Yeah.
In the words of NSYNC, bye, bye, bye.
I like that. That's a good one, Kim. So, come on, Steve. You don't have any sound effects to play for that?
No. I'm not Jason.
No, we're getting you for Christmas.
However, Jason doesn't have internet, so
he's just playing his little sound effects at home, but nobody can hear him, right? So what good is that? But what was so funny about that last night is we were convinced it was me. It was on my side. So
Yeah, I
we're
listened
into
to
the
it. You
show.
sounded clear as day. I
Well,
was like going with it.
Jason's like, wait, Hope, stop. I can't hear you. He's like, you're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out. So
it's Larry. It's Larry.
Yes.
Larry, it's
I'll
you.
leave.
You sound like digital static.
Exactly. You sound like a robot, man. You sound like a robot. So I left. Like I completely rebooted everything, got back in, and he's like, "Nah, man, I was having trouble while you're gone." After he was just bragging about his high internet speed.
Hey NGB, what's up?
It was
How
fun.
you doing? I didn't know you watched us from Facebook. I always see you on YouTube. So right on. But yeah, so I don't know. This is I mean, I was torn about it. I thought lesson was learned in Austin.
Yeah.
These littler companies that are moving into Seattle or into Minnesota, they're not going to help.
No,
I mean,
no.
It helps a little, but without the giants there, people don't. When the giants leave, it's almost like people's distrust in all this goes so up. They're not willing to try this new thing.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, they're so used, it's ingrained now. We people are used to it. They don't, a lot of younger teens and have never ridden in a taxi and will never ride in a taxi. It's just not part of their scope anymore. And yeah, we've got all these companies that want to come in and fill the void, but we read the stories and you start investigating. It's like, oh yeah, I've got 100 drivers or 100 riders signed up. That's not going to cut it. I mean, you need big money just to pay the insurance and pay the fees that you have to pay the city just to get going. I mean, you got it. We were kind of figuring it was going to be, you need at least 250, 300,000 just to get, kind of get the ball rolling. And some of these guys have, GoFundMe's and like, oh, I've got $4,000 so far. I'm on the way. I'm like, that's not going to cut it, man. That's just not going to cut it. And it would take, it's going to take a while. And, I'm sure a lot of them are afraid to pour a bunch of money into it just on the chance that Uber and Lyft do cut a deal with them. And then they're, they're going to have poured all this money into it and they're not going to be able to compete with the
and you have ones like Move coming in that are going to charge the daily or the monthly fee.
Yeah, the monthly fee and things like that.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's called the scheme, guys.
Yeah, it's like, what was that? What was the first one? What was it called? Trip. Yes, with a Y.
Yeah, TRYP.
Yeah.
If you guys ever remembered them, they were a complete scam. They charged you to as a driver to be on the platform. They had no passengers.
They were on some kind of a trip. That's for sure.
I mean, they did. I'm saying there was none to go around though.
Yeah.
Like if all four of us for every 4 drivers, there was one passenger that occasionally used it, kind of thing. It was.
And they used to advertise everywhere. They would spam all the forums on Facebook and Reddit and everything else.
But people are excited. They're all like, well, Move's coming here. And I'm like, okay, that's a scam. I'm not saying that about Move. Don't get me wrong. I don't know better, but it doesn't sound like it's going to do anything in Seattle or in Minnesota.
And I'm still holding that hope that they'll figure something out. I know they're going out of session. I don't know what their possibility of, calling a special session if they did come to an agreement. But I hope that, for the people of the city and the state there, I hope they do work something out because I do think it would inconvenience and hurt a lot of people, not only the passengers, but the people all the drivers. I mean, they've got to have, I don't know how many drivers in the state of Minnesota. It's got to be, a pretty good amount.
But the funny thing is, I can tell you for fact how many taxi drivers there are. 39.
Yeah, I know. They're going to fill the void, guys. Steve. They're going to fill the void.
39 taxi drivers in Minneapolis.
Yeah, they're going to fill the void. Yeah.
So my point would be, if you're a rideshare driver who does this full time, you might want to look into one of those options, see if they're doing car dispatch and how that would work.
Yeah.
Before it overflows. But I see that NGB is up in Seattle. And so he's talking about Seattle, and he's saying city council passed the preliminary repeal of the pay up ordinance, which we were just talking about at the start of this. And he's saying, think the law will withstand the full council vote. I don't think the law will withstand. I think the law will be repealed for sure, because it's killing the businesses and the businesses, no matter how the city council wants to vote, they have to vote with the businesses.
Yeah, I was reading that article and they were talking about how WrestleMania 41, they had already almost promised they were coming to that area and they ended up going somewhere else. That's a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah,
and there's no
and
telling
that's
how
just going
many
to be the
events.
first of things.
Yeah,
if
that's
you
just
do
one
this.
event, and all the hotels and event venues and things like that. It's going to hurt them because if you don't have people that can take these people from the airport to their hotels and around while they're there, because they're used to that. People like not having to rent a car unless they want to.
Yeah. So now what is he saying here? That Seattle was lucrative before the law. If I'm being honest and I'm fair, hopefully they don't throttle us in the other direction. I would think they're throttling you more now than they would be if they repeal it. Because if they repeal it, it goes back to just being able to be active or work it. But now they would need to throttle you because there aren't as many customers. So the volume's down. And I mean, we already know this. The restaurant money that's been lost in Seattle is millions this year to date. So
they're able to track that.
Yeah, the first 4 months, I mean, year to year, they're down like millions of dollars. So the restaurants are getting pissed, and they're pissed about it because they send the line item to the user, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I was trying to see what you thought. I honestly think without a miracle, and I don't know that one's coming this time. I think they might try and replay Austin. I think they're going to leave. Because now that it became a whole state thing too. I think that was a real turmoil for them. Mm-hmm. They got the Twin Cities and they got the rural and they had all these different rates. Now it's just one rate for the whole state. And they're like, forget it. We're done. You guys are, because I think it was a sign of bad faith. Like, why are we even here negotiating with you if you're going to now make it a rate for and it was only like 17 cents less than the original amount. So now the rural areas went up and it went down 17 cents in the city. So really it just stayed the same.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think they're going to leave. This article is pretty scathing. You got to, it's not like too ruthless, but you got to read between the lines. And I think that what they're asking for is, and again, guys, I'm always on the side of drivers. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I think what they're asking for is way too much. And I'm not, I would love to not defend the company. You know what I mean? So, yeah, we're going to wrap this up. Let's see. Okay. We got through everything there, I guess. And I got my son's last day tomorrow, and we got so let me jump over here because I had something on Dara that I was going to ask Cheyenne. And so just, I guess, real quick, let me just ask you this, so Dara now, because of the earnings loss that they just declared for Uber, is saying that it's because people work from home. Basically. Yeah,
I saw that.
So what do you, just curious what you think of that. Because you have Uber up there too. What do you think?
Yeah.
So come on, guys. We don't have enough logistics that we can't.
Honestly, the whole working from home thing, I don't think that's anything that's going to cause any issues, because if people are working from home, they're not cooking anyways. So they need to still get food. Like if I delivered during the daytime, whenever my boyfriend was on vacation and I delivered during the day, I would deliver to houses, but it's like, leave it at the door, and you would see them with their headset on, and they'll come to the door, they'll pick it up, and they'll go back. So it's not the fact that people are working from home or not. If they're working from home, or if they're in the office, if they don't have a lunch, they don't have a lunch. It's just that people aren't ordering. So it has nothing to do with the fact that people are now working from home.
I just found it even more funny that that's even his comment, though. Like, this is what you came up with after the earnings call. Like, you didn't even think of that 6 months ago. Hey, we're noticing that people
your
are
markup
home more.
in your feed is ridiculous. Change it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's called.
It
has nothing to do
with. And so anybody from Uber, Lyft, Doordash, any of that watching this potentially, just know you're not fooling anybody. We are all on these articles that say that the prices are down. No, they're not. And we're all aware of it. So stop with your dumb articles. They're not fooling anybody anymore. In fact, they're pissing people off. So that's a wrap for the week. Thank you, panelists. Thank you, everybody, for watching live or on the replay. See you back here next week. Until then, be safe, earn smart, and do not be a dick.
Happy Mother's Day.